My name is Oliver Queen. For 5 years, I was stranded on an island with only one goal. Survive.
Oliver Queen is alive.
Now I will fulfill my father's dying wish to use the list of names he left me and bring down those who are poisoning my city. To do this, I must become someone else. I must become something else.
Hello and welcome to the AFUK UK episode review podcast. This one is going to be focusing on episode 17, Birds of Prey. I'm Bradley and I'm joined as usual by Corey. Hello Corey.
Hello everyone.
Well, we didn't have very high expectations when talking in preparation for this episode last week. And, well, we were right. It wasn't a great episode.
No, I mean, it's not one you sort of, when you get the season 2 DVD, it's not one you're going to go back and watch over and over and over again, if at all.
Maybe once. Maybe. I don't know yet. It's certainly not one of those ones that's memorable.
Yeah, I think that's the right word. I mean, we've had the Huntress before, and it's basically, treading old ground again. She's back in town to kill her father. Oliver's going to try and stop her. So there wasn't really much new there. There are a few different bits in there, but yeah, like you say, it's not one that's going to stick in your memory like, I don't know, a Three Ghosts or a Sacrifice or Dead to Rights or something.
Or a Blast Radius. Oh no, that was the one before it. Blind Spot. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm not thinking too clearly right now. Obscured by the poorness that Birds of Prey delivered. Yeah, there were so many similarities to the Huntress Returns and the one before that. I can't remember the episode name.
Vendetta, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
I think.
And Ring of Fire, I think.
Yeah.
The similarities being the Huntress in town trying to kill her father because he killed her fiancé, and having a run-in with someone that Oliver loves, and, well, just everything about it, really.
Yeah.
It was pretty awful. Like, she was in one location for the majority of the episode, and pretty much her only role was to be a hostage taker and get into fights with the Canary.
Yeah, there wasn't much depth to her there. I mean, I think I wrote in the review that basically she's just the Huntress now, and she just really has, one goal in her mind, one purpose. But it's a bit dull, dry to watch, I guess.
Yeah, it's not very interesting, especially when it's not interesting story, but they could at least make telling the story a bit more interesting. I know there was fight scenes, but they weren't that great, to be honest, I didn't think.
I think also you don't really feel for what her motivation is, because, I don't know, perhaps if we'd seen a bit more of Bertinelli and the whole fiancé thing, I mean, I wouldn't have bothered to use flashbacks for that, but I don't know, if we'd just learnt a bit more about that or something, maybe it'd have become a little bit more interesting. But I think all she ever said was she's going to kill him because he had her fiance killed, and it was that over and over again. We had a bit of info, I think, right back in season 1 as to why he was killed, but
yeah, he was helping the FBI. No, I'll correct myself. Burton and his father thought that he was helping the FBI bring a case against him, when actually it was her communicating with the FBI with all the info about Frank and his criminal habits, and so he had her fiancé killed, and obviously she got very annoyed about it.
I think it's probably just been a bit of a lousy storyline from the outset. It's been a bit generic, and, well, Frank's dead now, so hopefully we can move on from that, and we've already seen that she's going to return in season 3 due to various interviews, but
Yay!
I mean, hopefully they can freshen her up now because she's free of this storyline, and you know, that I think that's definitely a good thing now because it is a bit of it's more of it's one of the drier storylines. You know, it was just boring by this episode.
Yeah, it really. I mean, even before the episode, as we said last week, it just didn't look good.
No.
I mean, I'm not quite sure how fans of the comics and Birds, because obviously the Birds of Prey is a comic thing, I'm not sure how they saw it, because I've not seen many views from them. I believe there was a reference to a Gail Simone or someone.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember hearing it.
No, I've read it somewhere. I should say I don't actually remember hearing it either.
So I'm sure that really, made those fans happy, but surely they couldn't have enjoyed that. I mean, it was so. I think the point of the episode was almost to bring the two, the Canary and the Huntress, together.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that.
And, the fight scenes were okay. They were nothing spectacular, but they were okay. But the story was just a bore, really.
Yeah. And I think we said last week we were sort of more looking forward to the promo for next week's episode. And I mean, we'll get to that later, of course. But yeah, we never really had high hopes for this one, and I don't think we were proved wrong, really.
No, we weren't. There was a serious problem with bringing it up. I thought that once they got rid of her last season, that even though she's still alive, just don't bring her back. We've had our storyline, and then suddenly they bring her back.
Yeah. I mean, on the plus side, it's over now, and we seem to be moving towards a hell of a run of episodes.
Yeah, that's the only consolation, really.
Yep.
But, I mean, she'll return next season, and she'll probably be find someone else to blame for her fiance's death, and go and track them down for a few seasons, and then kill them, and then find someone else to blame, track them down for a few seasons. What really annoyed me, Oliver.
Yep.
Deciding that he doesn't want to kill the Huntress. It's not as if she shot your girlfriend last time she was around, Oliver. It's not as if she's just taken a courtroom full of hostages, including your ex-girlfriend. What is it going to take for you to kill her?
Yeah, sort of. I don't know. Because didn't he say in their chat at the end of the episode that he thought he could save her or something, but he was wrong? I mean, if he's going to try and save her, then surely he must think he can redeem her. But once she's beyond saving and being dangerous, you'd think he would sort of put her down. But I suppose, in fairness, I don't know if you kind of felt it, but the final scene between them sort of hinted perhaps at a possible redemption. I'm not sure, but I definitely see what you're talking about there.
Yeah. I thought it worked really well, and I thought Sarah summed it up pretty well, saying about creating the Huntress, but Oliver also created Slade.
Yeah.
I don't get why Oliver is willing to kill Slade, but not the Huntress. I mean, obviously there's the added danger of Slade to him and everyone he cares about and the entire city. But surely it's the same point that he created Slade. He injected him with the Mirakuru. He chose Shadow to die. He switched Sarah to live.
Yeah.
Which fueled it. So he kind of caused Slade to become what he is now. And obviously he tried to save him, but he couldn't. Same with the Huntress. Obviously a little bit different, but it's the same idea.
Yeah, so it seems double standards.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he tried to save her last time, and the time before that. At what point are you going to give up and just say, beyond Saviour, let's kill her?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I guess it would perhaps if he found himself in a situation like State v Queen, I think it was, with the Count about to inject Felicity. If he'd sort of had that sort of standoff with the Huntress, maybe he'd have killed her then. Actually,
no, it would have probably been like, oh, no, I'll fire at your arm and something.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, actually, because in Huntress Returns, didn't he actually shot at her with an arrow anyway? She caught it, our favourite thing in the world.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah, but I don't know, he's willing to kill her then, and then not willing to kill her now.
Well, I suppose he has changed since Tommy's death.
Yeah.
But still, come on.
Yeah, sort of, the same principles, I guess, between, with why he's trying to kill Slade can be applied to the Huntress pretty well. So yeah, I don't really know why he's got a difference of opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring up the arrow catching, actually, because before the episode we saw numerous interviews, obviously, and a couple of them were saying about how we're going to learn what the Huntress has been up to the last year.
Yeah.
Did I miss that, or did that just not happen?
I think by alluding to that, I think there was that bit at the start when they were talking about all the people she's killed. I think that was it, really, what she's been up to, but there wasn't really much there, and it's kind of buried away, really. I mean, I'm sort of just thinking about it now. I didn't really notice it beforehand.
Oh, that's great. So first of all, don't explain how in 4 months she's managed to learn how to catch an arrow. And then a year later, don't explain what she's been doing for the last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep finding ways to make the Huntress storyline worse. And believe me when I tell you that I did not think that was possible.
Well, they always like to surprise you.
Yes, it's not a very positive surprise. I think I've had enough moaning about the Huntress, since there is no good points to her.
I don't think I've really got anything to add. Nope.
Okay then, we'll move on. Okay, so we'll move on and talk a little bit about Roy and Thea in this episode. What did you think of Oliver's idea of, hey Roy, go break up with Thea to keep her safe?
It was odd. I mean, he's worried about Roy hurting her, or her not being safe, but surely, number one, having a boyfriend who has superhuman strength and genuinely really cares about her is, logically, one would assume, keep her safe. And more than that, in Tremors, Oliver got Roy to think about Thea for his control and to try and help him. So, if he's worried about Roy losing control, why is he trying to get him to leave the one thing that keeps him steady out of his life? And then, I guess more than that, in the Tremors as well, we saw in the flashbacks that he managed to calm down Slade by talking about Shadow, who almost fulfills a similar role to Roy, to Slade that Thea does to Roy. And that worked too, so Oliver's logic seems a little flawed, and obviously it seemed even more flawed by the end of the episode with what happened.
That was almost inevitable, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, you could see that coming a mile off, really.
The thing that struck me was the whole, hey, go break up with Thea because you need to keep her safe, and if you're around her, she's not safe. I'm pretty sure he's been able to control her abilities around her for a great long time. Even if he doesn't, when you've got someone who wants to wreak havoc on Oliver's entire life, seek revenge against anyone he cares about, surely having someone who might actually be able to take him on in a fight, I wouldn't say he'd win, but at least he'd be able to take him on and sort of defend Thea, perhaps. I don't see where Oliver thinks it's a good idea to tell him to break up with her and be away from her.
No, I honestly just can't see what he's thinking. The only thing I can honestly think of is the whole purpose of that was just to get, have the episode ending with Thea getting in the car with everyone's favourite one-eyed Australian.
Oh, from a writing point of view, it definitely was that.
Yes.
But from a logic point of view, looking at it from Oliver and Roy and the characters, it was completely stupid.
Yes, his logic is severely, severely flawed.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't seem to have great thoughts when it comes to this sort of situation, does he?
No, he's not so sharp with that, that's for sure.
Obviously the end of the episode ended up with Thea getting into a car with Slade, which is obviously a really great idea, because she's not going to end up dead at some point, is she?
No, not at all. Why? I know she's met him once and basically just gave him an art exhibition of the Queen Mansion, but that was it. She'd said no to Oliver giving her a lift home, but why also would she then suddenly say yes to Slade? Because she's met him once, and fair enough, he was pleasant, and she had the whole art tour, but I don't know, it was just all a bit weird. But anyway, it sets us up for next week, which looks awesome, so, I'm not complaining.
Slade is a very persuasive man. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that.
He's just like, yes, you shouldn't be out walking this late at night on your own. Yeah, it was very odd.
Yeah, but, it's flawed logic aside, it's set up for next week, and I suppose that's the main thing, especially with our chat last week about how we weren't looking forward to this episode, and it was all about Deathstroke for us already then. So.
Yeah. One interesting point this does raise. How did Slade know that Thea was going to be walking down that particular, to go and pick her up? How did he know?
That is very true. I'm not sure on that one, to be honest. I was trying to think if he maybe managed to place trackers on them, but when he was there, but I don't think he. Maybe he did. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe that'll get explained. Maybe it won't. Maybe. But I don't know. This is the problem. I shouldn't try and think out loud. It sounds really painful. No, but I think the one thing we can say that it was no convenience that he was there.
Oh yeah, it was obviously intentional to kind of go, hey look, Oliver, I've kidnapped your sister. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I think that'd be quite fun.
I think I meant coincidence there as well. I said convenience. See, this is the problem. I've frazzled out my brain already.
Yes. See, I think I've done that too, because I didn't even notice you said it wrong. So, yeah, this could be a long, short podcast.
Stick with us.
Yes. But, yeah, obviously, it's one of those things that you've just sort of got to go with, because it sets things up, and they didn't really have time to explain it. Really.
No.
I mean, they couldn't explain it in The Promise, because, obviously, the whole cameras watching them was the last scene. So, obviously, you couldn't kind of build on that.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell it earlier, because then you kind of suspect that it's part of the cameras.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really much time to kind of randomly show the fact that Slade's watching them or tracking them or whatever during this episode without knowing that someone was going to be kind of taken either at their will or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Just one of those things you've got to go with, really.
Yeah, you just got to believe in it, accept it, and yeah.
But yeah. What did you think of the way Roy went about the breakup? I know we moved away from that a little bit, but what do you think of that?
I thought it was bizarre because I know Roy's. You could say he's been a bit erratic, and in some ways it was perhaps in keeping with that. But we know he obviously clearly cares about Thea. Why is he suddenly going to try and break up with her in the middle of a club floor, when clearly one would assume that could have the potential to cause a fair bit of embarrassment and clearly hurt her too? So that just felt a bit stupid. And then obviously his making out with some random blonde to try and push her away. I mean, I guess the other thing actually you could say is how Roy is clearly just going along with what Oliver said. I mean, I guess the spark for it was when he started crushing that guy's shoulder or whatever it was. But I don't know. Roy's always been kind of stubborn, I guess. He kept trying to find the arrow. It was when he got the arrow through his leg, he was going to try and I can't remember what it was exactly. No, but he's going against what the arrow said then. He's not one to really follow orders, so I don't know, it just all felt a bit strange, I guess. But like we say, we've got to just accept it.
I could sort of understand, like, him agreeing to break up with her because obviously he knows his strength. But at the same time, I can understand the opposite point of view of, well, surely she's safer next to him. If Slade comes for her, it's, at least a half fair fight. But the other thing is, why would he go about... I can understand. The first way he tried to do it was logical. That was fine. But why would you do something that, unless he actually tells her that he was protecting her, therefore telling her about his abilities, therefore telling her he works with the arrow, therefore telling her he knows who the arrow is. Unless he does that, there is no reprieve.
That's very true, actually, yeah.
Like, why would you do that to the point where it's almost impossible to kind of bring it back to where it was?
Yeah. I don't know, I guess he's not thinking too clearly about it, but...
And furthermore, why didn't Oliver just say, do it in this way to kind of help you? Why does Oliver just go, break up with Thea?
Yeah, he's not really the best of mentors, is he?
No, I mean, look at his relationships.
Yeah.
I so think Roy should have said that to him. Should just go, well, Oliver, I don't think you're really in a position to be telling me how to handle my relationships. I mean, look at yours.
That's very true, actually, because let's look at Oliver's history for a second. So, Laurel became a drunk and a drug addict. Helena...
Well, no. I think with Laurel, cheated on her with her sister.
Yeah, that's true.
Took her on a boat where they thought she and, everyone else in Stark City thought the sister was dead for 6 years. Then suddenly the sister comes back. Laurel has the problem with Sarah because she's back and ruined her life, whatever. Yeah, as you said, drunk, drug, fueled, whatever, craziness. And then goes sleep with Sarah, just, annoy Laurel more. That whole story's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then, as you said, you got the Huntress.
Yeah, psychopath, killing, revenge-filled, whatever you want to call her.
Yep. McKenna.
Yep.
Who was a cop and was working with Lance to take down the arrow. And that's really good.
Yeah.
Isabel Rochev.
Who appears to be working for Slade, but we'll get to that later.
And even if she isn't, she just has no facial expression, and that should surely kind of give a reason just to not do that.
Yeah, he just has no moral high ground or any reasonable expertise on this.
Yeah. Was there any more? I can't remember.
There's probably been a lot of things in Shadow.
Oh, no, I was going to come to Shadow in a minute.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think there was any more bad ones, I'm sure there probably was. But,
Yeah.
we're just forgetting them. Let's look at the positives. Shadow. Although she was loved by someone else who was meant to be Oliver's friend, and then Oliver chose to let her die. So something that was positive, and then he let her die.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
There's not much more to say on that. I think just what we've just been through pretty much is clear enough.
yeah, so Oliver, stop giving relationship advice, please.
Yes, please.
Yes. I think that's it for the Roy and Thea stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the other thing. Roy getting shot in the hand. It's almost nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a Mirakuru thing. We had Slade get shot through his stomach, I think it was, in The Promise. You know, it's nothing.
Yeah, nothing really. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we'll talk about the flashbacks next. There wasn't really a whole lot. I mean, obviously, Slade is just a little bit annoyed with Oliver.
Just a tad.
Got him strung up and torturing him. Giving him tattoos. Wow, that's a serious method of torture there. It just seemed weird when he was like, I've given you a tattoo, now you'll remember Shadow forever.
Yeah.
It was almost as if he thought that he wasn't going to remember about Shadow.
Mm.
You know, like, he seems to forget that Oliver did love Shadow too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Suddenly, hey, let's just give you a tattoo. Make sure that you remember.
I don't know, I guess it's you could just put it down to the Mirakuru, I suppose. But, like you say, it is odd, he kind of just doesn't realise that, Oliver's hardly going to forget it. Because, I don't know, from what you've kind of seen, I would have thought Slade would have deduced that Oliver's not a bad guy at that moment in time. He's kind of proven himself to him. And you'd, well, like you say, you'd think he would kind of realise he's hardly gonna forget Shadow at the click of a finger or something.
Yeah. I mean, giving him the tattoo, that's just weird. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I suppose it was a good way to kind of, I mean, we've seen the tattoo before in the present day. I suppose it's a good way of showing that and how that happened. But it almost seemed that, I don't know really, it didn't seem in line with the torture that Slade should have had prepared with the whole kind of, you cannot die until you've suffered the way I have. That kind of thing.
I don't know, if you're going to make him remember Shadow or something, why not just cut her name into his back or something? That's very graphic of me to suggest, but...
Yeah, I mean, that would work.
Well, in terms of severity and the whole making him suffer, you know, something like that kind of seems a little more appropriate. It's strange to go to the effort to get a fancy tattoo on his back.
Yeah. Yes. And then he sort of was offering to trade Oliver for Hendrik so that they could leave the island. that's never going to happen, is it?
No, I never ever thought that he'd give up Oliver, because he said he's not going to die until he's suffered like Slade suffered, and I don't know how long he's been on the boat, but I'm guessing it's not been that long. He's hardly going to give him up like that.
No, I mean, if he did give him up, he'd probably be dead, or almost dead.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, and obviously, Slade wouldn't want to just leave the island without Oliver, because,
No.
you know, what would be the point of taking him, putting that tattoo on him, kind of torturing him for a little while, and then suddenly, oh, okay, I can leave the island now, just hand you back.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be one of those situations where he takes both.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, from what I can remember, that's about it that happened.
Yeah, there wasn't much really to report from them.
There was the way that Hendrik ended up going with him, or about to go with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, attack him, drug him, I assume they drugged him, and
Yeah,
tie him up.
Yep, that's one way to get stuff done.
It definitely is. Kinyazev had a few more good lines, as usual. Don't think I made any notes for him, but...
No, he definitely did. If he gets his own spin-off, I'd watch it.
It was the one with the kind of... Hendrik was complaining about the plane, and he's like, if you don't like it, you can always swim back.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. To be made to swim back by Sarah and Kinyazev. I mean, I don't know how long he's going to be sticking around, because we don't actually know how long it's going to be until he gets off the island, goes with the Brother, and whatever, to where we got to in Keep Your Enemies Closer.
Yep.
But can they make him a series regular? Because he's just brilliant. He is like the island equivalent of Sin, but
Yeah.
appears more frequently and is funnier.
Yep. Just, if you're listening to our writers, do it.
Yes. Well, yeah. But yeah, he is a great character. There isn't much else for the island, really.
No, I think we've got it all.
Okay. So we'll move on. So we'll go on and talk about some odds and ends from the episode. We'll start off with our favourite topic of the season, Laurel.
We love Laurel.
Yeah. So when Oliver had that massive speech, kind of the whole "I'm done caring," we thought that she would improve. No. How wrong we were. You know, we said that Blind Spot would be a good episode, but what do we know, clearly?
Yeah. Not much.
Yes. So, all of a sudden, she's going to 2 AA meetings a day. She's been there for 30 days. Suddenly, they're in a hostage crisis. Hey, let's have a drink.
Yeah, I mean, and God, the scene that led to, I just found that so cringeworthy too, because the whole chat about sisters. But no, I'll come to that in a minute. But like you say, I kind of felt she got back on her feet alarmingly quickly too, because the promise, wasn't it? She was still no, Time of Death. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, Time of Death.
Time of Death was the one where Oliver gave the whole speech.
Yeah, Time of Death, she was still annoying us, and then, 3 episodes later, she's seemingly back on her feet. it just kind of made me feel a bit, okay, so we've gone through all this, her blaming everyone but herself, being a drunk, drug addict, just being very annoying, and now she's back on her feet. Kind of made me feel, what was the point of going through all of that? Especially as she just ends up back where she started in the same job.
Oh yeah, that was the tip of the iceberg that was just like...
Yeah, it's just so boring. I mean, freshen it up. Give her something else.
Oh, it was freshened up. She was brought in as a scapegoat by Adam Donner, who was then sacked.
Yes.
And then she blackmailed the DA into keeping her job.
Yeah.
So she wasn't hired, she blackmailed her way into it.
Yeah, it just... maybe they'll sort her out for season 3. I've kind of lost hope now for the rest of the season.
I've kind of lost hope for the entirety of the show. They kill her off, that would be the best thing. And it would mean we wouldn't have to go through seasons upon seasons of her, oh, I'm not a drunk. Yeah, I am. I'm not a drunk. Yeah, I am. I'm not a drunk. Yeah, I am. And then in season 6, oh, I'll be the canary now. Like, just keep Sarah as the canary.
Yeah.
She's not worth the effort.
No.
But, I mean, it annoyed me so much, the whole thing. Why, even, like, looking at it from Laurel's perspective, she's gone through all this trauma. She's working at the DA's office, and more trauma and whatever. And then suddenly, she's become a drunk, gets disbarred. This is what I now can't understand. How is she no longer disbarred?
True.
Right? 30 days after her first AA meeting. Right? So what? Maybe 40, 45 since she was disbarred? It's not even 2 months.
No.
Right? Suddenly she's allowed to be back at the DA's office. And then... surely her own logic would say, no, I don't want the job, to Adam Donner, because she realises she needs to get properly back on track before she can start in the job again, because it probably just drive her to drink again.
Yeah. I think this the whole storyline is kind of just not been too well done. And yeah, it's just less Laurel the better, really.
Yeah, unless she's being tortured violently by Slade.
Yeah.
That's a good scene. Yes, but, I mean, when Oliver gave that speech, there was the potential there. She could actually turn it around. She could improve.
Yeah.
And then, suddenly, oh, I love my sister now, again. She's helping me with jobs. I'm giving a relationship advice between her and Oliver. And now suddenly, oh, I'll go back to the DA's office.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. It's, just no.
Yeah, it's... Let's just pass on all the Laurel scenes for the rest of the season, please. I mean, I have to give her some sort of credit. Blackmailing the DA. Pretty good, but...
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's a good theory. Good strategy to get back into it. But surely it's very stupid that she got back into it.
Yeah. Like you say, it just makes the whole story that's gone before just feel a little pointless, because it doesn't seem like she's learned all that much. I mean, maybe it's still a work in progress, perhaps, I don't know.
No, I'm sure she'll probably be under the trauma of being held hostage again, and then, oh, let's go drink some more.
Yeah, just...
Yeah. Yes, not rude. I'll come to the Sarah and Laurel scene in a minute again, because we need to talk about Quentin.
Yep.
If it's revealed at some point to him that Oliver is the Arrow, and Quentin doesn't immediately say, yeah, I've known for a long time now, Paul Blackthorne really needs to quit the show.
Yeah.
because he does not deserve to be playing a character that is written in such a stupid way that, you know, Laurel drunk makes more sense than him. He uses more brain power.
Yeah, I totally agree.
This guy is supposed to be a detective, and yet, what do we have? Noticing the mask in episode 10.
Yep.
So surely he can see Oliver's face.
Yeah.
And then, hey, let's get a phone call. Let's call the Arrow, and Oliver's phone rings. And even if that wasn't enough to kind of tip it off, let's show Lance the phone as if to say, I'm not the Arrow.
Yeah, he's got to know, surely. I mean, he just has to.
Yeah, it's like, why would you show the phone? He didn't even say, I'm calling the Arrow.
No.
He just called the Arrow. Why would Oliver feel the need to show the phone if he wasn't the Arrow?
Yeah, true. Surely, you sort of just hear Oliver answer it and then start talking to his mum or something.
Yeah.
It was my mum. But,
yeah. But, I mean, come on, Quentin. You're better than this, surely.
Yes.
We've been told that there is a development with the Lance thing in episode 19. If it's not that he knows the Arrow's identity, or finds it out definitively, there's something seriously wrong.
Yep, agreed.
The only reason that Oliver hasn't told him is because I think he's probably worried a little bit about what he'd do. I mean, obviously Lance is now on good terms with Oliver, having had no current reason to hate him anymore.
Yeah.
But maybe finding out that he's the Arrow would ruin that. But if he almost knows anyway, then I almost want, rather than Oliver tell him, Lance to just go up to the Arrow and go, I know the Earl of a Queen.
Yeah.
That is what you need. Because if Lance shows that he knows, obviously he hasn't told the police or anything.
I'm just thinking, actually, because haven't we seen in, like, interviews, they've sort of been saying that there will be that development that will surprise us, and maybe you might be onto something there. Maybe he will go up to him and just sort of reveal he's always known. Because Oliver telling him, or us finding out that Lance hasn't known to a degree, would sort of be surprising. But we'll get on to what's to come later, obviously, but episode 19, I think we've read the press release already, and we know Thea is seemingly still kidnapped. You'd suspect that Lance is going to be helping along with that, and obviously, if he knows, he knows Oliver, Thea is Oliver's little sister, so there could be cause for him to kind of approach the Arrow with that, knowing how difficult this is for him and stuff. So you might be onto something there, actually. I think that'd be cool if we see that too. So. Yeah,
that's a good theory. Spoilers there for anyone, by the way.
Yes, so, you shouldn't really be listening to our podcast if you don't want spoilers anyway, because you should know by now we do discuss a fair few.
Yes, yeah, but don't blame us. Blame you for listening. But that would be certainly an interesting development. I mean, one would think that Lance isn't going to go, you're Oliver Queen, let's bring the entire police force in. Because he's been working with him for the entire season.
Yeah, he's not going to do that. And you think Oliver would kind of know that by now. He's not trying to hunt him anymore, he's working with him.
Yeah, I think Oliver's probably refraining from telling him because of the whole, too many people know my identity.
Yeah, you think
so. I think, at least, if Lance goes up to the Arrow and goes, I know your identity, I've known for ages, it's a little bit different and a little bit better than take down the hood. I'm Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
It's a bit better than that. That's, we can live with that. And it's Lance, so.
Yeah. We can live with that one for sure.
Yes. Which brings me on to my next point. How the hell did Sarah not... No, how the hell did Laurel not know that was Sarah sitting next to her?
Yeah, she clearly would seemingly have her father's skills of observation there. I mean, I even thought that Sarah's voice changer didn't do too much. I mean, she sounded a hell of a lot huskier with that, but it's...
Well, Oliver's doesn't really. It just makes the voice deeper.
Yeah, that's all it seems to do, and I mean, she's got less of a disguise than Oliver has, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, when, like, in those first episodes, when Oliver pulled the mask and the wig off, and, it's Sarah! Wait, you couldn't tell that from the rest of her face?
Yes.
The only reason it wasn't obvious to us was because we'd never seen Katie Lopes as Sarah before.
Yeah.
I mean, do these people just fail to see anything?
Yeah, maybe just TV characters are less observant than, I was going to say, well, real life people.
Quick, call Specsavers in.
Yeah, get a sponsorship deal with, get rolling out the stores in Starling City. They're clearly needed.
Yeah. I mean, it's just beyond belief. And the fact that Sarah was going on about the whole, I've got a sister and etc. The whole thing was just, even if you couldn't recognise her from her face, which you should have done, surely the content of the conversation, it's almost like alarm bells going, I'm your sister! I'm your sister!
Yeah,
without saying it.
That whole scene was just like so obvious that they were we knew that Laurel was talking about Sarah, and it was fairly obvious who Sarah was talking about, and I don't know, surely she should know, but I sort of bank on her not knowing more than Lance not knowing.
Yeah, she's stupid and Lance is... Well, we hope Lance has got some sort of intelligence.
Yes, we hope.
The other point to consider, if he doesn't know that Oliver's the Arrow, why was he made detective in the first place?
That's very true.
He clearly can't detect much if he doesn't know.
No, he'll never get that rank back if he doesn't know it's Oliver.
No. Yeah. It was interesting that Laurel used another one of those ironic lines that seem to be cropping up everywhere lately, where she said to Sarah, "You've never seen me be a lawyer before." Yeah. They were good at first, but I've had enough of them now.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like that sarcastic friend in a group who's always making those stupid little comments. Well, I mean, obviously, sort of in terms of the writing. I mean, in terms of the show, oh no, shut up. I'm gonna shut up. That was awful. I give it up.
Okay, so Corey's quit, and I'm just sat here now. I'm just gonna give my thoughts. No, yeah, Lance and all that, along with the ironic of. Actually, I tell you what, we had another one in this episode, didn't we? With the whole, you don't lie to me or whatever. You don't keep secrets from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're boring now.
Yeah, that's fear to Oliver. She had another one a few episodes ago about you're lucky your whole life doesn't revolve around lying.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had enough. Let's just have some better dialogue and decent story for Laurel, please, instead.
Yes.
Yes. Let's have a look. What else is there? A couple of good quotes with the Felicity goes on with her description of the Huntress, and Sarah just picks out psycho ex-girlfriend from the sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it with girlfriends of Oliver and being focused on that ex-girlfriend bit of Oliver? You know that he just goes out with almost every woman that he sees.
Yeah, he basically just has a conveyor belt of women. He probably just goes there, picks one off, in there for a few weeks, and then, something happens, someone dies, someone turns into a psychopath, someone turns into a serial drinker, and he's back there again.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Felicity, supporting Thea, not Thea, Sarah, in, beating the Huntress. I'm losing completely. That bit. And Diggle nodding. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Roy saying, "You can't make me date you."
Yeah.
I like that. Clearly, she thought she can, and then, oh no, I can't. I didn't particularly like the whole Helena, "Oh, I was meant to be the one to kill him" thing.
Yeah.
He's dead. Who cares who killed him?
Yeah, I mean, she wanted him dead, and...
Yeah. Oh no, suddenly it's about who kills him.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just be like, "Oh yeah, he's dead, thank God for that."
Yeah.
Now he's not going to go around and killing any more people's fiancés and wreaking havoc and whatever. No. I must be the one to kill him. Why just put an arrow in his dead body or something?
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. What else have we got here? Oh yeah, Adam Donner getting fired. That went really well. I actually thought he had some sort of intelligence when he was introduced. Clearly not.
No. And, I don't know, him getting punched by Lance was a nice moment too.
Yeah. Frank Bertinelli. I have to talk about him.
Yeah.
At what point was it that he's out on the streets getting arrested?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm trying to think. He kind of ran off into the woods, didn't he, at the end of Huntress Returns?
That's a good point. I'd forgotten about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because he's...
As my memory only went as far as the two vans.
Oh, no.
And he wasn't in either of them. I remember that now. He was in the house, wasn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't even the same actor, though, was it? Because he didn't say anything, and we just saw the back of his head. So.
Yeah, I think that was one of the crew. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeffrey Nordling too busy doing other stuff to make a 10-second cameo with the back of his head.
Yeah.
Yes. That solved that problem. The other thing, what is the point, Oliver, getting Frank out, but hey, let's leave Laurel in there. Frank Bertinelli is a criminal. The reason that the Huntress is there is to kill Frank. Hey, let's leave him in there. Let the Huntress kill Frank, save Laurel, and therefore all the hostages get saved as well. Everyone wins except Frank, but he's never going to win anyway because he's a criminal.
Yeah. Another example of Oliver's logic being slightly strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Roy being called Speedy?
Yeah.
By Oliver, although we learned that it was only to bring up Thea.
Yeah.
I think we read somewhere that he's going to become Arsenal.
Yeah.
That means nothing to me, or I don't know if it probably doesn't mean anything to you, but comic fans, obviously, I'm sure you're very enjoying the whole idea of that happening at some point. What else have we got here? Can't think of anything else, really. No. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Can you?
No, not really, to be honest. I think we've probably covered the majority of it, actually.
Yes. Okay. So we'll move on. Okay, so we're going to talk about next week's episode. If you hadn't heard already, it's called Deathstroke. it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. Well, not what's going to happen, but what it's going to be about. Obviously, Slade is going to be wreaking some havoc upon Oliver.
Yep, you'd suspect so.
Yeah, it'd be pretty weird to have an episode called Deathstroke and have no Slade.
Yeah, that would be odd. But no, looking forward to it. It looks a good one.
Yes. We'll read the press release. It's quite short, but Oliver's world starts to crumble. Slade makes his move against Oliver, and the repercussions are enormous. While Oliver scrambles to protect his family, a key player in his team starts to question Oliver's decisions. Meanwhile, Isabel makes her move to take Queen Consolidated away from Oliver. Obviously, Slade making his move would be taking Thea, which we've already seen. The key player would be Roy, questioning Oliver's decisions because Oliver obviously said, go break up with Thea.
Yep, true.
Isabel making her move to take Queen Consolidated. For those of you who've seen the promo, and the promotional images as well, it looked a little bit obvious that Slade and Isabel have been working together, or at the very least, Isabel knows something because Oliver seems to be pinning her down in Queen Consolidated, and not for the reason that he would have been doing in Keep Enemies Closer. Yeah, he doesn't seem very happy with Isabel.
No, he's
That's
not
for sure.
pleased.
So I think it's going to be clear that she is working with Slade, and obviously taking Queen Consolidated away from him now. That's good. Kidnap sister, start the whole I'm going to take everything he cares about away from him. Include Queen Consolidated in that, why don't they?
Yeah, it seems so.
Yeah, this is going to be a massive episode.
Yeah. Can't come soon enough, really.
I think we know it's going to be a massive episode when a little while ago Stephen Amell posted on his Facebook page and his YouTube and everything about them preparing a stunt sequence that's called This Is Going for the Emmy stunt sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've probably seen what that could be from the promo as well.
It's definitely something to look forward to.
Yep, definitely.
Looks like we've got Slade in the mask and the Deathstroke suit, which is always fun because it's brilliant. Obviously Oliver's not going to be very happy because he's kidnapped his sister.
Also, I was wondering about that because in the promo we've got Thea on film and Oliver getting up somewhere, presumably seeing it. Where is he? Because there's loads of people around him.
Yeah, I was wondering that. It didn't really make much sense to me, but I'm sure it'll be explained.
Yeah, true.
Maybe he's at like some, I don't know. One thing we do know, and this is going to be major spoilers for the episode, so sort of don't listen if you don't want them. But at the very end of the promo, and at the end of the long 3-minute promise promo, we have that scene with Oliver putting an arrow into Slade. I'll be willing to bet that's a dream.
Could very well be.
Well, since the following episode has Slade mentioned in the press release, and he actually has a role, you wouldn't think that he would die.
Yeah. It seems unlikely it'd kill him.
I mean, potentially it could just be an arrow through him and, like, the gunshot does absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Oliver basically stabbed himself and murdered, and neither of them died, and Slade's superhuman, so...
Yeah. I think you need some better arrows.
He does a bit, yeah.
I think
ones that explode inside people.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of them last season.
True.
I think maybe what he needs is some of those flame arrows that just automatically kind of catch fire as soon as he puts them in the bow.
Yeah, that might work well.
That'd be cool. If nothing else. But yes. it's definitely going to be one of those episodes where we can talk a lot about.
Yeah, we'll probably have a 12-hour long podcast. So join us for your weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's pretty much it for both episodes, in fact.
Yep.
Okay, so I hope you've all enjoyed this podcast, and we will see you next time.